Hello YouTube and welcome to another episode of Ready for Pushback, and in today's episode we are at a very snowy Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and we will be flying to Chicago Midway Airport in our Cessna Citation Longitude. I already have it up and running and getting it all warmed up, so the right seat is open, so please come aboard and let's get started. Alrighty folks, welcome aboard 3132 Bravo, and we are getting set to fly to Midway Airport in Chicago. As you can see, we are pretty socked in here. Clouds are pretty low and pretty snowy here in Jackson Hole. Usually you can see the mountain range behind me as you saw in the intro, but it is pretty dark and pretty nasty. So anyway, this airport is an add-on that you can find in the marketplace for Jackson Hole, and once again I also have the simple traffic from Aerosoft installed. As you can see, Emirates is here, and Emirates would not normally be here. So, but hey, it's better than having the default liveries here. But in any case, so I got the APU up and running, I got the batteries up and running here, and that's pretty much it. I also have all my de-icers on right now because it is cold here and we are getting ice forming on all the windows and the surfaces, so we got that all turned on. In any case, so I'll flick my nav lights on here and my wing, or my anti-collision lights, and we will get our flight plan together here, and let's take a look at that right now. So let's go over here and take a look. Alright, so here's our flight plan. Alright, so like I taught you guys in my last tutorial, that the important things here are, we have, let's see, right here, here's our estimated takeoff weight and our landing weight. This is the flight level that we're going to be climbing to today, so flight level 410. We're going to load with 6,740 pounds of fuel. Alright, here's our actual flight plan. So we're going to take off runway 19 on the Alpine 3 departure. That's our SID. SID ends at this waypoint, which I believe is the only waypoint in the SID. And then from there, we're direct to CZI. Get on there. That's the on point for the J82 airway. We're going to get off at FSD, which is also, it's the intersection. That will also connect us to the J16 airway. We'll get off at MCW, and from there, direct to OMI. And then we will arrive, and that is probably the transition, into the ND6 arrival for runway 22 left at Midway in Chicago. Alright, that is our flight plan. Block time, flight time is 2 hours and 42 minutes. Alright, this is what they gave us for our schedule. 2 hours and 50 minutes, but we should be there about 2 hours and 42 minutes based on the winds aloft. We are carrying 2 passengers today, and cargo is 0.2, which means 200 pounds. So that would be the baggage. Alright. This is the breakdown of every waypoint and where we should be at the flight level. There's our top of climb, somewhere between the KICNE and the Crazy Woman. Alright. Once again, I will go through, this is made with Navigraph Simbrief. I will go through Simbrief in a future video and how you come up with these flight plans. But that is the information that we need. Okay. Back in the cockpit, let's load that flight plan in to our flight computer. Alright, so first things first. Add your origin. KJAC. And our destination is KMDW. Midway, Chicago. There we go. Okay, since we have a SID in this particular flight, we're going to enter that first. So there it is, the Alpine 3 for runway 19. That is exactly what we're doing. So there we are, and there's our waypoint. KICNE. Okay? Now, since we're in this window, let's take a look at the chart. Alright, here we are. So, we have a strict, let's take a look here. So yes, we have a strict 15,000 foot to get to for Kishni. We'll call it Kishni. Alright, this SID requires takeoff minimums. So takeoff runway 19 standard or lower than standard if authorized, with minimum climb of 335 per nautical mile to 8,400. Alright. So climbing right, turning heading 200 to intercept the Jack Radio 192 to Kanish and hold. Continue climb in the Kanish holding pattern to cross Kanish at 15,000 feet. Expect further clearance to filed altitude 10 minutes after departure. Okay, so what that means, folks, is we're going to take off runway 19er. We're going to head to 200 on our heading. We're going to come out here. Okay, if we have not made 15,000 feet, we have to enter the holding pattern and spin around here until we climb up to 15,000 feet, in which case we can depart out of the SID. That is what that means. Alright. The reason being is, as you can see, we have the range of the Tetons, the Grand Tetons are right here. So they're at 15,000 feet. Now, however, we are going to be flying that away. So, but you can see minimum clearances here is 13,500. So they want you safely above 15 or at 15,000 feet or above to get clear all these mountains here. So that is the reason we have to do a holding pattern here if we are not at 15,000 feet. Okay. Very good. So let's go back to our flight computer. Alright, so we're going to load that. Let's turn that off. Let's go back. Our arrival is the ND6. Okay? But we're coming into 22 left. Jump isn't our transition. If you remember, it's oh my. So we'll be using the oh my transition for runway 22 left into Chicago with the ND6 arrival. We will take a look at that later on the chart. Alright. We will load that. Okay. Now we will go back. And our approach will be 22 left. Now, what exactly are we going to use? We have a 22 left Y, a 22 left Z. So let's see. That's all we got. So we got a Y and a Z. Normally I would do this in the air, but I want to get the right thing here, so let's take a look. Alright, that goes to steer, is where the beginning of that one is. So let's take a look real quick. Let me see what the 22LX is. That's also steer. Oh no, sorry. That's different. Alright, so that's basically just a circle around the land. 122 left. Alright, so let's do this. Let's take a look real quick. I was going to look at this later, but let's just take a look for giggles and grins. Alright, here's the oh my. We'll be coming down here. We'll worry about all these flight levels and altitude restrictions as we come in. So we got Indy. So here's our airport. And really we could go any way. So there's Albuquerque. There's Waddle. Alright, so let's take a look and to see if any of our approaches have any of those particular waypoints in there. Is there anything else? We got a 22 left Z. That is sterile in it. I mean, all of them have that Dix. Let's see what the preview on that is. Sterile Dixon. They all come in off of the lake and come in, which is a nice approach because here's downtown. I hate that menu. Here's downtown, so it's kind of pretty to kind of come in on the approach. But all these come in via this way and then over. But I like having that much room for an approach. It's kind of nice. The only one that actually makes somewhat sense was the Y from our direction. Oops. Keep doing that. Show chart. And is that the Y? Yes, it is. Okay, so that's very similar to the Z. There's very little difference between the two of them. Showing map. Oops. Show chart. Yeah, that's the one that is probably our closest. How many transitions are there? Just the one. Pickup, mean fetter, yacht. Yep. Alright, well, I'm going to put this in for now. And we'll see how it works. Alright, so we have to add some waypoints here. Just bear with me a second and we will get that up and running here. Alright, so what's our next waypoint after Kanish? That would be CZI. CZI. Make a set, Northwest USA. That's correct. Alright, we're going from CZI, and that is also our transition to the jetway. It's being picky. Here we go. All right. So we're going to click on that, and we're going to load the airway. So what airway do we need to get onto? That would be the J82. And we're going to exit the J82 at FSD. And there it is. All right. So then you load your airway. Airway's in. All right. But we're also going to get on from FSD. Remember, that's our exit point. So if you click on FSD, we're going to get on another airway. And that would be the J16 airway. And we're going to exit J16 at MCW. And there it is. Load the airway. And then we're direct to OMI from there. So MCW to OMI. And then we begin our descent in our phases through here. Now we'll add all the restrictions that we see on the chart in here during the cruise. That gives us something to do. Alright, for now, that's pretty much the flight plan. Okay. So, if we want to take a look at the flight plan, show on the map, there it is, in its entirety. Now what I'd like to do is, I want to get over here and focus in on that just to make sure. So let me change my view here real quick. Bear with me. Oops. This is a better view for this. Alright, so let's get our little mouse over to here. Oops. And focus. It's a little tricky to use this, but it can be done. Just making sure everything kind of fits together. Yeah, that fits nice. So literally we're going to come in here and then swing around and boom. Alright, it all makes sense. And that's what we want. Alright. Flight plan's in. Yeah, things are clearing up out here. You can see all that just move through. That's how it is here in the mountains. Alright. So let's go over to ground. And let's get our departure clearance.
Jackson ground, Cessna November, tree 1 tree 2 Bravo IFR to Midway, ready to copy.
Cessna November, tree 1 tree 2 Bravo is cleared to Midway Airport as filed. Takeoff runway 19er climb and maintain 13,000 feet. Departure frequency is 133.25 squawk 700 tree.
Cessna November, tree 1 tree 2 Bravo cleared to Midway Airport as filed. Takeoff runway 19er climb and maintain 13,000 feet. Departure on 133.25 squawk 700 tree.
Cessna 3 2 Bravo, read that correct. Contact ground on 124.55. Good day.
Alright. So we're going to climb to 13,000 feet. I already entered that in. Okay. And it gave us the squawk code. I put that in. Alright. I'm not sure if there's a fuel truck here or not, but it doesn't matter because we're just going to enter it in manually. So I'm just going to blank out my payload. Oops. No, I do not weigh 1,700 pounds, I promise you. So I'm entering co-pilot, pilot, and the 2 passengers' weight, and then we're going to go down to here. Remember, I said it's 200 pounds, and that's that. All right. The other thing we got to enter in is our fuel. So right now 7,296, and if we look at our, we're supposed to be 6,740. We're not too far off, but we'll take some weight off here a little bit. Oops. So yeah, that's not quite enough. Yeah. So we'll put 6,859 pounds on. Alright, and the other thing we're going to do is get our center of gravity where it needs to be. So you want this little dot, or a little crosshair, to be dead center in there. Pretty close. And then the number you want to remember is our center of gravity, 31.88. That'll help us with our trim setting, which it doesn't change too much actually. It's usually somewhere between -3 and -4 for takeoff. Alright, so our takeoff weight for today is 31,128 pounds. So if you look back at our thing, so that's a little bit off. I usually find that this is either a little less than what it is. So we'll probably come in around 1,000 pounds more there, and it's usually 1,000 pounds off. So it's pretty close though. But it doesn't make too much difference with our V speeds. Alrighty. So we are loaded, and speaking of V speeds, let's put our V speeds in. Let's go over to here, speed bugs. You could definitely use these. That's no problem. It would actually work. I have a chart here for V speeds. So we're 31,000, so we're between the 28,001 and 32,000, so our V speeds are as follows. 109. Rotation speeds 112. V2 is 124. And that's always 185. Turn them on. And we're back. Let's see, is there anything else here? Yes, we want to turn this to FMS. Turn this to nav1. I'm sorry, to GPS. And leave that at nav1 on the bearing 2. Then we'll have our timer ready to go. The other thing I want to do is you want to set this to manual. Okay. And we're going to turn on flight level change. And we're going to increase our speed here to 220 knots. Unless you had something in your SID that told you you had to fly less. Alright. And that is it for now. Just double checking everything. I think we are good. Alright, let's do our checklist. So before start, parking brake is set. Which I will show you the parking brake here quick. Up is set. battery switches left and right are on. Generator control switches are off. APU knob is already started. The APU is running. We are on the APU generator. That is on. Standby power is tested on. External power is not available here. Battery amps are charging, and the bus tie is open. Alright. COM 1 is, we got to listen to our ATIS. Or ATIS, or ATIS. I think I called it ATIS in the last video. I changed my terms. So. Alrighty. By the way, I wanted to thank all of my new YouTube subscribers. I had lots and lots that joined over the last week.
Jackson Airport information Golf 1800 Zulu. Wind 19er at 22. Visibility 10. Sky condition, ceiling 1,900 feet overcast. Temperature -4. Dew point 10. Altimeter 29.908. ILS Yankee runway 19er in use. Landing and departing runway 19er.
Alright. But yes, thank you guys for joining. If you have any requests at all, if you want to see anything, just let me know. We'll see if we can get it on the air here for you. So, alright, so our altimeter is 29.908. I hit the B key. That will set all your altimeters. So we are set there. We have Golf. Let's start our engines. Everything else seems to be set here on our... Yep, before pushback. We're not doing a pushback today. We're already ready to go straight out. So, engine start. Parking brake is set. Anti-collision lights are on. Power levers are idle, and the fuel valve will be open here in shortly. I'm just doing a few more things. Emergency lights are on. Fuel valve is open. Okay, let's go through the V sequence here. Engine 2 for start. APU bleed will be on. Turn on the starter. Wait till you come up to 8.0 N2. Then hit your run key, or your run button. Engine should fire up. We have good engine fire. Oil pressure's coming up. Oil temperature's coming up. Wait till the engine stabilizes. You can turn your starter off. Engine stable. Close your guard. Repeat for engine 1. APU bleeds open. Turn on starter. Wait for 8.0 N2. Hit run. We have a good fire. Oil pressure's coming up. Oil temperature's coming up. And 2's coming up. And 1's coming up. Internal turbine temperature's coming up. Wait for engine to stabilize. You can turn your starter off. You can close your guard. Next thing you can do is disconnect your APU power. Turn on your generators. Both are on. Shut the bus tie. Shut down the APU. Clear your warning. Alright, we are now charging separately. Both sides of the battery. APU is coming down. Engines are stable. We're good to go. Taxi lights are on. At this point, we will turn to TA on, TA only. And we will turn our ETL on. Alright, the other thing we'll do is now that the engines are started, we can set our trim. So we're at 31.8, so that is about -4 on our trim. You can find your trim out here on the outside view. And we're coming down to -4, I'm sorry. Alright. Good to go. Like everything else looks good. You see we're getting some more haze and stuff in here. Alright. Let's get our taxi clearance, get out of here.
Jackson Ground, Cessna November, Tree 1 Tree 2 Bravo, with hotel ready to taxi IFR.
Cessna November, Tree 1 Tree 2 Bravo taxi to and hold short of runway 19er. Contact tower on 118.075 when ready.
Taxiing hold short runway 19er, Cessna Tree 2 Bravo.
Alright. Gonna arm the spoilers so I don't forget. Oh, that's our reversers. That's not our reversers. Get a little gas to get going, and once she gets going, she wants to keep going. So we don't need a taxi ribbon today. It's only one taxiway. Alright, I'm going to set this to 200. 200. I'll spin it around here manually because that's the heading we need to fly. Take a quick look. Like I said, you wouldn't really have Emirates here. That's a nice add-on though. I like this airport. It's beautiful when you can see the mountains here, the Grand Tetons. But the weather is what it is. There's all the snow removal equipment. Sure, you need a small army to remove stuff here. Oh, look, there's a little helicopter. Isn't that cute? It's probably a medevac. Alright, I'm going to put one set of flaps in for takeoff. That's your switch down here. Indicators up here. There's a spot over here to the right you could do an engine run up. And normally you would. We're going to skip that phase today. Alright, we have arrived at 19er.
Jackson Tower, Cessna November, Tree 1 Tree 2 Bravo ready for departure runway 19er IFR to Midway.
Cessna November, Tree 1 Tree 2 Bravo altimeter 29er.9er, 8 wind 19er 9er at 22. Cleared for takeoff runway 19er.
Cleared for takeoff runway 19er, Cessna
Alright,
November,
taxi
Tree 1
lights.
Tree 2 Bravo.
Taxi lights are off, strobe lights are on, landing lights are on. We're going to start our little timer there. We are clear right and clear left. I see 19er right. Let's get ourselves in the middle of the runway. Beautiful. We are ready to go. Parking brake, flight director's on, heading bug. AB button's off, nav button is needed, flaps are in position, ice protection is needed, landing lights are on, taxi lights are off. Pulse lights are on, anti-collision lights are on, chronograph started, parking brake will be released. Let the engine spool up. We're good. And full power. Takeoff power set and achieved. 2 good engines. $80 knots, check. 100 knots. V1, rotate. V2, positive rate, gear up. V2 plus 20, flaps up. Flight level change. APU.
Cessna 3, 2 Bravo, contact Salt Lake Center on 133.25. Good day.
Going to 133.25 Cessna Tree 2 Bravo.
We are off. Look at that pretty sky.
Salt Lake Center Cessna November Tree 1 Tree 2 Bravo is passing 8,800 feet, climbing 13,000 feet.
Cessna November Tree 1 Tree 2 Bravo, Salt Lake Center altimeter 29.9. Continue to take me as planned.
Alright. 10,000 feet. Landing lights can go off. We're going to have no problems getting to 15,000 feet by before we get to Kidney. Alright, we're above 10,000 feet. You can go up to 270 knots. There's some scenery, folks. Alright, we're holding at 13,000 feet. Oh, something I forgot to tell you. You have to request to go higher.
Salt Lake Center Cessna Tree 2 Bravo. Request flight level 230.
Cessna 3, 2 Bravo, climb and maintain flight level 230.
Climb and maintain flight level 230 Cessna Tree 2 Bravo.
Alright, so what we're going to do is we're only going to climb to 15,000 feet because we have to be at 15,000 feet for this waypoint. Okay? So I'm only climbing to 15,000 feet. Now, air traffic control, let's see, we have what? 2 minutes before we get there? 2.5 minutes. So, air traffic control is going to give us a little grief, but that's fine. See, the problem is air traffic control at Microsoft isn't the greatest. So you have to kind of work around it. So in other words, when you do a flight plan in your flight computer here, it's only going to give you an initial altitude to climb to and maybe one above it. And then that's it. Okay? You have to request to climb the rest of your climb up to the altitude in which you want to climb. So we're going to climb to 41,000 feet. So we have to request all the way up to 41,000 feet. Same thing when we come down. If you have some flight restrictions as far as altitudes, you're going to have to request it from the flight simulator's ATC. It doesn't know that you need to be at those altitudes. Like I said, it's not the greatest thing in the world, so, you know, as far as ATC goes. However, it's better than not using ATC at all. So, you just have to work around it. Look how pretty that is. That's beautiful. So right now we're just going to stay at 15,000 feet until we get to Kissimmee.
Cessna 3, 2 Bravo, please expedite your climb flight level 230.
And there you go. That's exactly what I'm talking about. But that's alright. We will climb to 230 once we get past this waypoint. This is a flight restriction, so we're going to stay here. It's definitely gusty up here. And we're in the clouds, so... Okay, we've hit our waypoint. We're now turning to our next waypoint. And we're going to hit the nav button, by the way.
Cessna 2 Bravo, contact Salt Lake Center on 128.35. Good day.
128.35 for Cessna 2 Bravo.
So I stayed on the heading indicator until we got to this waypoint. Now we're going to actually just plug it into the nav, and it's going to follow the flight plan at this point. So we're going to take a long swing out here and come back to this. And we're going to climb to 230. So I'm putting 230 in. Now remember, the plane does not know how to get to 230. It just knows that you put in 230. You can use vertical speed, or you can use flight level change. We're going to use flight level change. Alright, and as you can see, we're going to start climbing. Let's take a look at the scenery real quick before we switch over and talk to Salt Lake Center. You gotta say, you know, Microsoft Flight Simulator has hit it out of the park. Are the clouds the greatest thing in the world? No, they look like cauliflower. But, you know, in the scheme of things, everything looks pretty cool. So...
Salt Lake Center Cessna November 3132 Bravo is passing 17,500 feet, climbing flight level 230.
Cessna November 3132 Bravo, Salt Lake Center altimeter 29.98. Continue to Charlie Zulu India as planned.
Alright. So we're headed to Charlie Zulu India. It's our next waypoint. As you can see, we'll come back onto the flight plan here. And what I'm going to do is knock this out a little bit. If I can actually get on here. So we got a ways to go till we get there. Alright, so I hit the standard button, 29.902. We climbed above 18,000 feet. We got one to go, or one taco, till we get to 23,000 feet, or flight level 230. And we're well on our way. Wyoming's a pretty state. So we're going to remain at 270 until we come up to our Mach. Once we get up here to Mach 0.80, we'll switch over to Mach 0.80 for the rest of the climb. Alright. I try to keep also my heading bug in line with roughly where we are. Now notice, remember I said we got to actually ask for our climb the rest of the way. So we're just going to keep going up by 10,000 feet.
Salt Lake Center Cessna 2 Bravo. Request flight level 330.
Cessna 2 Bravo, climb and maintain flight level 290. Expect flight level 330.
Climb and maintain flight level 290. Expect flight level 330 Cessna 2 Bravo.
Hit flight level change. It says climb here. And we are on our way up. We will hold 270 knots. That's what FLC is. It's flight level change. It'll hold your speed and find the right vertical speed to climb. And sometimes it's pretty aggressive. The higher you get, the less aggressive it gets, though. So we're climbing at 4,600, 4,500, 4,400. We're coming down a little bit, but Yeah, about 3,900 feet per minute. You can also keep asking for your altitude. So we're going up to 33,000. So we want to go to 41,000 feet. So obviously the difference to that is another 8,000 feet.
Salt Lake Center, Cessna Tree 2 Bravo. Request flight level 410.
Cessna Tree 2 Bravo climb and maintain flight level 290. Expect flight level 410.
Climb and maintain flight level 290. Expect flight level 410 Cessna Tree 2 Bravo.
Alright. I think at this point we can turn off, we'll see. I think we can turn off our de-icers. We're out of the moisture.
Cessna Tree 2 Bravo contact Salt Lake Center on 128.35. Good day.
128.35 for Cessna Tree 2 Bravo.
Look at that, folks. There's no better office in the sky than in a cockpit. Or should I say, view in the sky than in a cockpit. I mean, that's the best office window you can have.
Salt Lake Center, Cessna November Tree 1 Tree 2 Bravo flight level 290. Cessna November Tree 1 Tree 2 Bravo Salt Lake Center, continue to Charlie Zulu India as planned. Cessna Tree 2 Bravo climb and maintain flight level 350. Climb and maintain flight level 350 Cessna Tree 2 Bravo.
Alright. So, like I said, I got 350 in, hit flight level change, and up we will go. And I'm just waiting for my point Mach here to get to, see right now it's 0.7, maybe you can't see it real well. So we're at 0.70 Mach. You're actually going to see the barber pole come down here eventually. So to give you a little idea on the PFD here, this is actually where we're supposed to be headed. This is where we're actually headed. So our nose is pointed this way because of the wind. So we're getting a tailwind here of 87 knots. So we're going across the ground. Our ground speed's 504 knots, 505 knots. Our airspeed is 427 knots. That's our total airspeed. We're pointed this way, but we're actually headed that way. So that's what you're seeing there. As you can see, our Mach is climbing. This is our angle of attack. Never want to see it in the red. Alright. All your different warnings for systems. It's basically your crew warnings will pop up here. One of the bugs is the APU generator off light will always be here, or indicator, as long as it's off. And well, during flight it is always off. So the other thing I'm going to do is on the speed bugs, I'm going to turn off. I might not be on that one. Yeah, they're all off. Okay. Yeah, they're off. Alright. As you can see, the barber pole is starting to come down. That's our... You don't want to go faster than that. So we're 15 minutes into our flight. We're already at 33,000 feet. So that's not too bad. Yep, we're leaving the snow. Let's hop over to the co-pilot seat. That's the back seat view. One of them. I have a couple different views back here. You can see we got some ice on the wing. That's a bug too. Obviously we had the de-icers on the whole time, but that ice is...
Climb and maintain flight level 410 Cessna Tree 2 Bravo.
That ice isn't affecting us, so I have a couple different custom views here. I could keep the de-icers on, see if that comes off, but I don't think it does. I think once it's on there, it stays on there.
Cessna Tree 2 Bravo, contact Salt Lake Center on 133.25. Good day. 133.25 Cessna Tree 2 Bravo.
Alright, so let's climb to 41,000 feet. Hit flight level change. So we're at 7.90. Alright. So this is what we need to do. If you push on this, on the speed indicator or speed button here, that puts you to your Mach. So then you can control it to point. So when you get to 0.80, that's what you want to do. So you want to keep it on 0.80. That way it'll keep it away from the barber pole here. Alright, so we're going to climb up to 41,000 feet, and we're going to hold 0.8 Mach. Or at least as close as we can to it. Alright. Let me contact center.
Salt Lake Center, Cessna November, Tree 1 Tree 2 Bravo is passing flight level Tree 60, climbing flight level 410.
Cessna November, Tree 1 Tree 2 Bravo, Salt Lake Center, continue to Charlie Zulu India as planned.
I always like raising myself up in the seat, take a look over the dash here. But anyway, here's the co-pilot side. It's another one of my custom views. I'll do a little short tutorial too on custom views. So you're probably wondering if any of you have done and saved some custom views. You can only save custom views into the cockpit. Okay, that's it. That's the only place you can do it. So some of you are probably wondering, so like this view, they're all legal views, but how did I get back here into the passenger area? How did I get outside to do a custom view? How did I get to this passenger area? Alright? Probably wondering how I did that. There's a trick. There's actually a really good trick to it. So I will put a video also. I'll put a little short video on that. That's a quick 5-minute thing to teach you guys how to set up a custom view that's outside of the cockpit. So for all of you that don't know how to do it, it's kind of tricky, but you can do it. So you're not subject to just, custom views in the cockpit. You can make a custom view anywhere if you know how to do it. So alright, once I get up to cruise here, I think what I'm going to do for a while, because the rest of the flight's pretty boring, except just going over across a bunch of states here, is I'll probably time-lapse it, and I'll see you when we're getting a little bit closer to Chicago. Alright. And until then, that'll do it for this video. Thank you for watching this video, and I will see you when we get to Chicago in the next video. What I'll do is I will show you the descent and the VNAVs and our approach into Chicago. But until then, thank you very much for watching, and please subscribe. If you liked the video, please hit the like button, and we sure do appreciate it here at Ready for Pushback. Until then, everybody have a great flight. Take care, everyone.